he made a really interesting comment to me that kind of blew my mind. Like, if he's looking at someone's back and they're talking about a back piece and they have a piece on the back of their calf, he's like, well, that that is what is, and this can be anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I just kind of keep that mindset. I start, even if I'm working up here, I'm starting with this in mind, because it has to at some point relate to that, because I know it's going to. And he's like, and I'm always just thinking about what already is and then what can be. And so then every time they come back, I'm like, okay, well, this is where we stand. This is where it is. What can it be from here?
I think that's something that people don't touch on enough about Jeff's work, is that how well he complements the body. You know what I mean? When he does his work, and I'm very conscious of that when I'm doing work. I'm always thinking about rest. What the tattoo looks like at rest. How does somebody view it? And I'm always constantly like debating on how to design things. It's like for example, somebody's like, oh, I want a rooster. Okay, where do you want it? Oh, I want it on my upper arm. And it's like, okay, cool. So then I will I'll turn the rooster upside down, because I don't want just a pair of rooster feet hanging out of the bottom of somebody's arm. You have to be conscious of all the avenues of like how it's going to be received, how it's going to be viewed, and everything else. And Jeff is like a master at that. He really understands how to like tie into things very efficiently and leave room for other artists to come in and work. Because inevitably, people move around, and I like that. There's a lot of collectors, it seems now. So
me too. I'm the same way. And I was doing a guest spot not too long ago, maybe a year or so ago, and I forget what the artist was, but I was drawing and I was listening to a consultation happen at the same time, and it was a back rib kind of transition piece, and the artist asked the girl, it was a younger girl, and he was like, what do you what kind of clothes do you wear that you want this to be seen in? And she was telling him like, I don't know, maybe this or this. And he's like, take photos of yourself in this. He's like, because I just want to make sure that we're not cropping it in a way where like rooster feet are sticking out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was just like, what an interesting way to think about it. I never say like, put on the clothes that you want this to look good in.
Well, I think as an artist too, sometimes that's like the kind of the foundation for a composition. You know what I mean? Is like asking those questions, because then you figure out like, okay, how is this going to be placed? And right away you could be like, well, I can't. Obviously, if it's going to be up there, already you start thinking about composition just based on where it's placed, and how it's going to be viewed and how it's going to be there, and hopefully leaving it open for somebody else to kind of tie into it later, or yourself, or whatever. But I think that's a great way of like starting composition. If you're having a tough time going like, oh, my client wanted this, but I don't know quite where to start, placement is a big factor into that formula.